The story starts out in a classroom, where a boy and a girl are arguing. The boy's name is Yada and the girl is Maya. Maya shouted at Yada because he stole her test and laughed at her score. In defense, Yada shouted back saying that there's nothing wrong with laughing at a stupid person. The teacher told the both of them to meet him for counseling after class. After counseling, the teacher let them go. While outside, Yada complained because of how dark it became. Maya blamed him, saying it's his fault. Yada settled for a temporary truce, since he didn't have any energy to fight back, and Maya agreed. While talking, we find out that they were told to write a 10-page apology as punishment and that since they actually managed to do it, they might have some writing skills. Maya thought that even though it's because they were punished, they still ended up walking home together, and it's her first time walking home with a guy. But she still wondered why it had to be him. Yada was walking too quickly, so Maya told him to slow down. He told her to wait, then he went ahead. She thought he wanted to use the toilet. After a while, he came back and gave her a can of coffee, and said it's an apology for what happened earlier. She was a little surprised, but she accepted it and told him it's a little late for an apology. Yada said it's nice to go home with someone, but Maya asked him if that isn't normal. He said that all his friends who live around have club activities, so he usually goes home alone. She offered to go home with him every once in a while. He praised her and said he didn't know she could be so cool, but she yelled that it's just once in a while. After that day, they walked home together every day. And since she didn't want anyone finding out about it, they met up somewhere after school before walking home. At first, they only walked home, but after some time, it became normal for them to stop at different places before going home. They stopped to get ice cream, stopped at a karaoke, and stopped at a claw machine on different occasions. Of course, Yada pissed her off sometimes, but she still enjoyed spending time with him. On one occasion, Yada won a teddy bear from a claw machine. While smiling, he gave it to Maya, and said that she would probably never get one, so he'll just give her what he won. She blushed and thanked him. Before she realized it, her hate for Yada turned into love. And we see her in her bed, blushing while looking at a picture of them together. One day, she invited him to her place to cook for him. She told him that she's confident in her cooking. Yada just hoped she was telling the truth. He asked her where her family is. Maya said that her parents are working late so he should just kick back and relax. He blushed, but agreed. She secretly thought she made it too obvious after serving the meal. Yada said it actually looks better than he expected. Maya asked him what he was expecting, then told him to shut up. He thanked her for the food, then took a taste and said the food is great. While watching him eat, Maya thought that he's a pretty fast eater, but she was glad that all her practice paid off. All of a sudden, Yada stood up and said that girls who are good cooks are his weakness. Then he kissed Maya, surprised. She asked him what he's doing, and he said he couldn't hold it in anymore. After eating, he thanked her for the meal and said that since he's done eating, he'll be going home. She immediately stopped him and said it isn't right to leave just like that. He asked her what isn't right, and she said there are still all kinds of stuff they could do. He asked her if she was talking about playing games. Her expression turned ashen. She slapped him and said that he's horrible for leading her on like that. Rubbing his cheek, he told her that he doesn't want to do something like that with her on a whim. She told him that he doesn't get it, then asked him if he has any idea how hard it was for her to ask him over. Yada blushed then told her that she may be used to it, but he has no idea what he's supposed to do in situations like that, because he's a virgin. She said she knew that just by looking at him. Before he could respond, she told him not to worry, because she's new to it too. Then she kissed him. While kissing, she put her hand on his chest and thought to herself that she got carried away and kissed him so his heart is beating fast, and she wondered if her kissing is good enough, but decided that it didn't matter. After all, it feels good. After kissing, they did it. Back in school, they were shouting at each other as usual. Yada told her to stop making a fuss over everything he does, and that because of her, he can't talk to people in peace. Maya shouted back, saying it's all his fault because he's getting chummy with other girls. She then called him a quick shot. He immediately covered her mouth, but his classmates already heard it and whispered among themselves, wondering if they've done it. The name of this doujin is TORAKABURI.